Good day.
And all that's left is to go east. Except, no, we're going to be doing some Andy runs first. Now, why would we be doing some Andy runs so early? Well, mostly for the gear, but I do get some experience from it as well. Normal Andy doesn't drop a lot of good gear, but it's enough to give me a really good edge coming into Act 2. I think by the end of this I did around 6 Andy runs, and it gave me some good gear to get that edge. I did fast forward the first time through, and that's just because I wanted to show you how really ridiculously easy it was to me to get there. Catacombs level 2 waypoint was like 10 seconds away from level 3, and then level 3 was literally like 4 turns. And there she is. Now 9 times out of 10 she opens up with a little poison salvo, but it's really easy to dodge. And here we have some riveting Amazon gameplay. Just watch me work. And after one of the loudest sounds you're ever going to hear in Diablo 2, she drops an L and an L. At this point here, I wanted to change out mercenaries. Aunt Lisa was pretty good, but she was fire-based, and so was I. So I'm going to go with Oriana, because she's frost-based. So good riddance, Aunt Lisa. Andy run number 2. Drops some chain gloves level 12. And they're a set of clay gloves pincers. That slow target and that knockback, that's really good for my Amazon. Now it's time for Andy run number 3, and she drops nothing. Well, that's just kind of how the RNG gods go. It's time for Andy run number 4, and the RNG gods have blessed me with nothing. Well, if I'm not going to get anything, I might as well not run her.
I can't carry.
Let's try our luck at some Countess runs. And as always, here's a fast forward of me running to the tower. I wanted to try my hand a little bit more at some runes. I don't have a single rune word, and that's a little bit of a shame. I'm hoping that I get like an Eth rune so I can make stealth. That's appropriate for the level that I'm at. And our first run is successful with a Neph rune. That's way better than the Tal runes I've been getting. Oh, at some point somebody dropped an Infernal Cranium. That's way better than my empty 2-socket helmet. Here's Countess run number 2, and it's another Tal rune. At least I can cube them. And just my luck, another Infernal Cranium. Well, I'm using the one that I have on just because it's a higher eye level, but it doesn't matter at all. At this point, I think Act 1 is cursed. It's about time for me to head over to Act 2. Does anybody else like Lootgorland as much as I do? I'm a huge fan of the city. I love the aesthetic. I love the people. Not only that, but I think that Act 2 is probably my favorite act out of all the series. But before I get too nostalgic for this place, it's time to go to the sewers. Well, why do we do the sewers? Well, it's simple. There's a lot of experience in there. But also that sweet skill book that Rodamint drops. I don't know about the rest of you, but I definitely suffer from a skill issue, and I need all the help I can get. Another weird thing about having random monsters on is that it's really weird seeing the combinations that happen here. Frozen Scourges in the primary fire act. Ooh, a piece of candy. And that candy is Kleeglog's shield. How useless. And there's my boy Rodamint. I think it's really interesting that they used him as the first real boss in the act, especially his use of Holy Bolt and undead monsters. Oh yeah. And now it's on to the Rocky Wastes and beyond.
Ooh, ring mail. Let's see what set item we get for the ring mail.
And that piece of candy turns out to be an angelic mantle. Now onto the dry hills. I hope I don't see any cows, I hate those. Oh god! Ooh, a piece of candy. That candy turns out to be a Sanders Taboo. That 20% increased attack speed is calling my name. I can't wait till I turn level 28. At this point, I wanted to switch gears a little bit. I needed a new Merc. Oriana was doing good, but she was dying too much, and I really wanted those sweet Paladin auras. And I ended up hiring Emilio because it's really close to Christmas and I wanted my own elf. Ooh, a piece of candy. And this one turned out to be another Clegglaw's shield. This had to have been one of the easiest Halls of the Dead that I've ever found. Ooh, a piece of candy. You know, it's seeming to me that set items are dropping at a much higher rate in Act 2. And that piece of candy turns out to be an angelic sickle. That's a great starter paladin weapon and goes well with that chainmail, if I could use it. And now it's time for everybody's favorite item. The only reason here we're in the Halls of the Dead is to find that Herodric Cube. Oh yeah. Now you can't get the Herodric Cube without cubing literally everything in your bank. It's a rite of passage for everybody. Listen while I, at 500% speed, cube everything that goes in the cube. Now it's time for the far oasis to find the Groundussie. I get told all the time that people hate the maggot layer. Well, let me explain it to you.
It is hated because the corridors are so narrow, it's very hard to travel around. You essentially have to kill every single monster to get through it, and you have to kill them one at a time. A lot of the monsters have lightning shock, which basically puts out a bunch of crawling lightning bolts, and it does a lot of damage to you. Not to mention, you don't really know what's going around in the corner because you can't see any of it. So there you go. That's why.
I could not have said it any better myself. Ooh, a piece of candy. And that piece of candy turns out to be a Berserker's headgear. It has really good fire resist for the fire act, but I have better. Oh, here we are. Killing one thing at a time. Check. I didn't find any lightning scarabs this time. I think that's because I had random monsters set on. So this Groundussie layer was definitely a lot easier than what I'm normally used to. Regardless though, here's my Staff of Kings. Coldworm even dropped a unique Skewer of Crintus, which is a really cool weapon, especially with that excess damage and the mana stolen per hit. Too bad I can't use it. Now, I was wandering around the far oasis just trying to find the exit, and this happened. An Eth rune dropped. Do you have any idea how important that is? That was the only rune that I was away from having my very own stealth. Obviously, due to the gravity of the situation, I warped right back to town to farm for a base. I'm looking for a 2-socket armor, and of course, the first time I get there, it's not there. Looks like I'm going to have to go and do some vendor resets. After about 6 resets, I found a nice armor for stealth. I can't be the only one that does this. I always second, third, and fourth guess all of my rune words. Of course, stealth is Tal F. And this stealth is way better than the armor that I have on, the Arctic Furs. That nice run-walk speed, the mana generation. I just kind of hope that I found this way earlier in the game. Wait, why can't I put it on? Oh wait, that's right. I don't meet the strength requirements yet. I'm just 1 level off. And it's Merc armor until I can level up.
To good use.
Off to the Lost City, also called We Don't Stop Here because it's like Indiana. There's nothing here. Moving right along to the Valley of the Snakes. And in case you didn't know, the temple is right in the center of the valley. Kind of like the cloister in the last act, the Claw Viper Temple is definitely one of those places where I just had to explore every corner. So, I suffered, you get to suffer too. But you get to suffer at 5 times speed. Just to add to the suffering, a set buckler dropped. I'm not even going to ID these anymore. And the suffering continues. And there's level 2. It wasn't too hard, right? In a rare event from Fangskin, 2 pieces of candy dropped. And in short order, I got my Claw Viper amulet. Piece of candy number 1 is Sandra's Taboo. It's really nice, but it's hard to get excited over having a second one. The second piece of candy is Hasaros' Iron Heel. It has great fire resist and a 10% run walk speed. I'm putting these on right now. Oh, I can't forget my stealth either.
I'll put that to good use.
Now I am speed with 45% run walk speed. It's time for the palace and one of my favorite locations in this game, the Arcane Sanctuary. In case you didn't know, the harem and the cellar underneath the palace is really easy to navigate. All you have to do is go to the corner of the map at each location and there's the way down. Me, of course. I thought there was a level 4. So, here I am walking around at the corner, didn't find it, and then figured out that the gate was right in the center of the Arcane Sanctuary. In short order, I found it too. Now, let's play my favorite game. Is this going to be a 1-way, a 2-way, a 3-way, a 4-way, or the coveted 5-way in the Arcane Sanctuary? Obviously the 1-way is best, but I hedged my bet with a 2-way, and my chat voted for a 5-way. I guess they have no faith in my RNG abilities. As we speed through our first way, I know I mentioned it before, but Arcane Sanctuary is probably one of my favorite locations in this whole game. I just really love the art style. I love the combination of monsters that you get here. You know, if you didn't have random monsters on. Oh, a piece of candy. And that piece of candy is Hasaros' belt. I'm wearing the boots, so this is going on immediately. Yes, please give me that boosted attack rating and that defense. It is a great addition. Back into the Arcane Sanctuary, and we are just about to find out if this is going to be the coveted 1-way. How disappointing. It's not. Well, clear out the mobs and let's try again. Let's try the second way. I feel like the aesthetic of the Arcane Sanctuary is very much like the Pandemonium Fortress. You know, without all the fire and brimstone and helling parts. I really enjoy the background of this place. The stargazing background is just a great aesthetic direction that the designers went through. Overall, I give this place a 10 out of 10. Let's find out if this is the 2-way that I voted for. And it looks like it is. You can tell by the stairs up in the corner there. When it rounds like that, that's how you know you found the summoner. And after quickly dispatching the summoner, it's time to go to the Canyon of the Magi.
Freak.
Q. Triangle. Alright, let's find the triangle.
I can't be the only one who never memorized the tunes, right? You know what order they come in. I know the inside of the tunes are all randomized, but the outsides are always the same. I usually end up just going to the right corner and then checking every tune individually. The amount of times that I've been through the Canyon of the Magi, you'd think it would benefit me to memorize all these. And there we go. Let's check the first tune. Nope, that one's not it. On to the next one. Oh, and there it is. It was that easy. Maybe you don't have to memorize them after all. After a fairly boring tomb, I find the very end. I also find the orifice that I get to put my staff into. Doriel's always a challenge, so before I put my staff in here, I'm going to go ahead and prepare first. Oh yeah.
Trade. Give me them thawing potions. Give me them thawing potions.
After purchasing and obsessively chugging thawing potions, it's time to go into Doriel's lair. And here we go. Wait a second. He is a lot easier than I remembered. Well, I guess after short order he goes down. And just like Fangskin, he drops 2 pieces of candy. First piece of candy is Arcana's head. I have way better. The second piece of candy is a Berserker's headgear. That's pretty disappointing. Back at the tomb, I'm off to talk to my boy Tyrael. And there's nothing left to do but go east.
Great, Jaren. Good to see you.